So how are you doing this without a shovel?
You will see. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
You got it on?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm Michael McConkey here, and I am planting a tree today. I use a digging fork or a spading fork. I've had this since the 70s. It served me well. Make sure it's a hardwood handle when if you ever get one, and it's single forged, so it's not American made. And I have picked a spot. This is kind of a grassy area right here. It's close to an exit that we have going into the woods. It's close to the soil pile. It's a little bit out of the way. This is a Miss Kim mulberry, and as I recollect, back when I was trying to import this from Korea, the Miss Kim was a dwarf tree, so I'm giving it a space of about 15 feet wide here, although I actually have a little bit more space right here, but maybe I'll add something up the way where the elderberries are. This one already has fruit, as you can see. We also take a metal screen and we staple it around the plant to keep the rodents and the rabbits and maybe deer or something away from it. Remember, if you're planting mulberry, leaves of the mulberry family are the deer's favorite. They love it. So, with saying that, and you're wondering where my shovel is, I guess, I don't usually use a shovel because with a digging fork, you can break up the soil. Let me put my gloves on. If I'm going to break up the soil, it's kind of better to do it with gloves. And I buy these by the 10 or 12 or 7 pack. Much cheaper. All right, so I'm bringing it up. And what do I have? First thing, I've got a lot of rooty, grassy-like stuff, and I'll pound that out. And I'm going to start making a circle. And it doesn't have to be that big, but it may get up to 3 feet depending on my energy. You don't need that in the tines of the lawnmower.
Don't hit me with it.
All right, I'm going to throw my grass in a little pile. Soil's a little rocky here, but it's been here for a while. As far as cultivation, we bought this land, it was woods, in 1987. And we haven't done much over here as far as making the soil better, but it does have some topsoil. We had a rain last night. We have good old mountain soil here, meaning that the higher elevations eroded for the last million or so years. So our stuff is kind of pebbly. Our soil is not real clay, but it has some clay and a lot of rocky erosion that just broke down over the years. Not my favorite grass. Can really be a nuisance in blueberries. So yesterday, I don't think the soil would have worked this well. And down in this end, I'm finding that it's a little rocky. I may even pull out a big stone. Subsoil is actually still a little dry, so we could use another inch. So I'll continue aerating the soil, and I'll continue working the soil. Today I woke up, I knew that the rain last night kind of rained all night. We had a good downpour. And so all that water is now communicating with all the plants and moving around. Lots of activity. And you see, as I dig, it gets wider and wider. My attire today is loose clothing. I'm not hot. I'm not sweating. And yes, I like playing in the dirt. And this isn't your front yard, but it is kind of grassy. And you want to keep, for the first couple of years, you want to keep this grass away from your plant. Because it's like a big invitation to a peripheral something that I left. It'll want to go in there and renegotiate and colonize that whole area that you just dug out. So sometimes you come back with a mulch to hold that back, and you don't plant this too deep, and you make sure that your roots are coming out about the same height as the way the plant is planted. We usually do a pretty good job on the depth of the plant, but if you plant your plant too deep, it can really retard the plant, sometimes for its whole life. Sometimes it'll kill the plant if it's planted too deep. So this really aerates the soil that I'm leaving, by using a fork instead of a shovel. And that goes with a tractor auger. A lot of times you're not getting this kind of aeration. Here, ducks. Got a little June bug larvae here. Oh, there they are over there too. And we have deer protection right behind us and bear protection. So I know this plant is not going to get destroyed with everything working in order. Also, water is not that far away. It could be closer, but about 50 feet that way, we have a outdoor frost guard water spigot, and I can actually bring that hose over here if it starts, if we do get a drought and it needs more watering during the summer. This is May the 4th. Happy Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. A lot of people think that May the 5th, maybe that's fairly late to plant plants, but our plants are in the pot, and if they're not rooted, you better tell us because we've made a mistake. And there's your, oh look, a slug. So you can see here the roots are going in a circular fashion, but they're not all that pot bound. The plant is still pretty nice. I'm going to be setting it in, and I'll be teasing these roots out a little bit. I don't want to bare root it. It's clinging to this moisture, so it'll give it a good start. I do see some roots here. Maybe some of these should have been teased out. Maybe this plant was in a gallon pot. We had this in a gallon pot. So I can see that some of these roots, I brought a little tool here. This one can tease out that root, and going over here to the left, behind. So I will probably take this root now, and I'm going to plant it horizontal. I'll plant it like that. And I may find another one like that to want to do the same thing if she still wants to come. Since I'm dropping dirt, I'll probably just drop it over the hole because I can use a little bit more dirt. Since the grass will change the level. I lost that root. I broke it off. I'm not all that concerned. A bare root plant would have, you know, not a percentage of feeder roots like this. And feeder roots are so important for the establishment of your plant, especially persimmons, pecans. They all need these feeder roots. And you'll get a lot of root growth with mulberry and peach, all of the prunus family, from roses to apricots. They all grow a lot of root, and so it's almost hard for us to keep up from getting them too pot bound. This is a very comfortable 3-gallon plant, and you can see I'm getting a couple of roots that I can take horizontal in the hole, put soil on both sides, and it should just do fine. And I get the opportunity to taste this, Miss Kim, which I haven't done. I will also probably cut, you know, for shipping we might tie all these together, but I'm going to cut these back. I forgot my pruners, how about that? Anyway, I'm going to lay this guy down for a second, and I think I'm just about ready, after seeing the roots, what I can, another rock's down there. Yeah, these tools are really good to get rocks out, because they can get around them, feel them, pop them out. Easier than a shovel. And I guess I could use a shovel now to dig all this out, but at the same time I can just move it back like this. Some more of the grass I don't like, the quack grass or crabgrass. So now I'm already down about 8 inches, 9 inches. And once I scoop it out, I give it another fork, a few inches, depending on how far I can go. If this was 2 months ago, when this would be more moist probably. I'm just digging it a little bit. So it's aerated. Good soil is about 40% air. So that's another good reason to use a spading fork. You're adding a lot of air to the mix. And if I put this, if I put my little baby on here, I want that guy up. I'm already at a good place to put the soil back. And I'll layer the roots. I just put a root there, and I may put, bring these up, lift up the skirt, if you will, and put it in, and lay it down again, so that the existing orchard soil is around both sides of the roots. And that way, the plant will have a good opportunity to really spread out and take off. This topmost root will go on last. I guess I'll move it to the north, although I don't know if it matters. I've got a root here that's still out, see it? So I'm going to lay it in there just about that deep. This is my stake. I can actually pull that down a little bit further. Today I won't water this plant, mostly because I think it's going to rain again. If the rain settles in, if it doesn't, I'll be back here tomorrow, no later than the next day, to give it a really good soaking. If it was really convenient and the water was right here, I'd probably water it now. But since we've got rain in the forecast, and the magic of the rains from the heavens, it just works wonders. So, I'm berming the side that's going down for holding the water a little bit. I've got this extra soil, and I'll probably just take all this stuff and let it compost. It'll be on top of the soil, and that'll give me also a good berm. I have enough room to come back with a couple inches of mulch, which I will probably also do. I can take this empty container, go over to the old soil pile. Should I do that now? Yes. I'll be right back. So this is mulch from the old soil pile. That's got a lot of high organic matter. Hey, another June bug. Hey, ducks.
Duck snacks.
All right. Now, I think everything is done. I'll let that limb come out. I like lower branching. It's nice to pick the fruits. Voila!
Yay!
Yay! Tree planted, 3 gallons.